I'm Dean Thomas, Managing Director of CFS Funerals Services. In this video, we're going to talk about how funerals have changed from traditional to more contemporary and more personalised, and how the funeral profession has changed over the years. When I first started, when you sat with the family, it was basically, is it a burial or a cremation service? Which church are you going to? It was quite rare to have a service direct at the crematorium. Generally, if somebody had a burial, it was a solid oak coffin. If it was a cremation, it was a veneer coffin, and that was the only options. Then as time evolved, humanist celebrants came on board. More and more services took place directly at the crematorium. Now we're in a situation where probably 90% of the services do not involve religion in any form.
With the changing needs and preferences of families who are having funerals for their loved ones, how are you and funeral directors as a whole in the industry adapting, would you say?
So one of the biggest changes is that most of our funerals are now celebrant-led as opposed to vicar or priest-led, which means that the service is much more personalised. There's no set format, so we can have services, some might only be 5-10 minutes, some could be double slot hour service, and it's more about the person who's passed away. There's no set religious content, no Bible readings, and we're finding that music, audio visuals, photos, people speaking, poetry being read, different people giving tribute is now becoming the norm.
So with the rise then of personalised funeral, how are people able to create more of a meaningful and unique send-off for their loved ones, would you say?
So by having a celebrant with a blank sheet of paper, so it means that people can personalise the service more. Some families do pretty much everything themselves, with the celebrant just effectively acts as master of ceremonies. In other cases, the celebrant will read on behalf of the family. So every family now has more opportunity to make the service unique, instead of having a format that basically gave 20 minutes of, say, a religious content and then a brief 5 minutes eulogy or tribute about the person who's passed away. So the content is much more personalised.
With the future of the funeral industry and how it will continue to adapt and evolve over time to meet the changing demands, so how do you see it then changing over the next few years with personalisation with funerals?
One of the changes has been with direct cremations, where more people decide not to have a service at all. More people will consider that as an option. Things like music, audio visuals, different modes of transport, different types of coffin. People opt for wicker, willow, decorated, different colours, different styles. Stationery, people are having booklets that could be kept as keepsakes, memorial books. We even can have packs of flowers that people can plant in their garden. There's all different changes. And with the ashes going back, years ago it used to be, are they being buried or scattered? Now people are having them made into jewellery, incorporated in tattoos, put into planters in the garden. Everything has changed, so no two services are the same.
Can you think of, or give us an example of a family that you've dealt with recently who have wanted to personalise or customise their funeral, and how you've been able to help them in that way?
One funeral we had recently where they wanted a very low-key service, but with people in attendance. So we had no celebrant at all. We worked with the family for them to be able to take the service themselves. There were no cars or hearse. The coffin was in the chapel at the crematorium when we arrived. It was all very low key, just me and 2 members of staff. The service was family led, and we just supported for the audio visuals, the photos, the music, and it was very much a celebration of life.
What would be the benefits of choosing CFS for a funeral if somebody wants to personalise compared to anybody else, like a national chain or anywhere else in the area?
So at CFS, because we're a private business, and again, none of the staff have sales targets, there's no incentive to upsell. So we'll actually sit with people and work out exactly what they want and advise what can be done. The only thing would be if somebody wanted something that was illegal or impractical, we would advise on that, but we'll find the best way to do whatever the family want. It gives us the challenge and keeps everything interesting.
With current trend in direct cremations then, I know that's obviously like popular at the moment, isn't it? But what are you seeing more recently that people are thinking that their loved one isn't getting the perfect send-off they want because these national chains aren't giving them the options to personalise, whereas, say, with CFS, you're able to give people a direct cremation if they want, but add the personalisation, the customisation on top. So what would you say to that point?
One of the things that we're finding is that after direct cremation, the families are thinking, what do they do with the ashes? Often people are sold a direct cremation on the basis that you can then have a celebration for your loved one afterwards. We're finding the harsh reality is that people won't travel to attend a life celebration, or people don't get around to arranging anything. We still find that people will travel to attend a funeral service. So with us, we find that now we're getting 2 or 3 families every week coming to us saying that we've had a relative cremated, we've got the ashes, we want them to be buried in a churchyard, buried in a cemetery, put into jewellery. What do we do with them? We didn't have a celebration. What can we do? The difference with us is that we're able to do all of that. We don't just simply take care of the cremation and send the ashes back to the family. One of the other things with personalisation is the price varies from very simple to very elaborate services. Other factors to make them tailored, using bagpipers, doves, different forms of transport. There's all sorts of options that are there now that wouldn't have been there even 10 years ago.